At my baby shower, Mom gave my sister a $32,000 all expenses paid Europe honeymoon because her love story deserves it more. Then she looked at me. Remember, your $3,200 mortgage is due Friday. I quietly packed the diaper gifts and walked out that night. 4 months later, 41 missed calls. One read, "Mom, urgent." Imagine it. 8 months pregnant, radiating that expectant glow at my baby shower. A day universally understood to be a celebration of new life, of me and my little one. Instead, my own mother chose that precise, radiant moment to unleash a seismic truth. She just lavished $32,000 on my sister's dream honeymoon, then fixed her gaze directly on me, her eyes drilling, and demanded the next mortgage payment. Can you fathom such an audacity? Because yes, that breathtaking scene truly unfolded for me. And in that instant, everything irrevocably shifted. I'm Maya, 30 years old, and undeniably, I'm the responsible one, the elder daughter perpetually burdened with having her life meticulously aligned. My days are consumed by a small nonprofit, knee-deep in the ceaseless churn of grants, invoices, and spreadsheets that literally make my vision swim. I own a 2-bedroom condo, mind you. The dishwasher groans like a decrepit freight train, and to the houseplant I consistently sentence to thirst. My existence is a meticulously arranged chaos of sticky notes, oat milk, prenatal vitamins, and the endless call insurance reminder. Oh, and I'm 8 months pregnant with my first baby. I'd already meticulously washed every tiny onesie, folding them into perfect, hopeful stacks. As if by performing this ritual, I could somehow compel the future to be nothing but kind. My sister, Bella, 26 years young, has always been Mom's undisputed darling, the son she never had, draped in effortless femininity. Bella possesses that captivating beauty, the kind that acts like a perpetual discount code on life. She's gifted preferential treatment, even absolution for her missteps. Her profession? Teaching vibe yoga, naturally punctuated by Instagram reels promoting esoteric green juices. When Bella's laughter rings out, rooms genuinely seem to tilt in her direction, captivated. When I laugh, the usual response is a startled, "Oh, Maya, I hadn't even noticed you there." Mom, who largely raised us solo after Dad's departure, is a formidable presence. Believe me when I say, she could conjure a holiday out of a mundane Tuesday, or transmute a simple inquiry into the most potent instrument of guilt. Her absolute favorite mantra? Family is everything. Her second? We'll figure it out. A phrase which, in the silent lexicon of our household, invariably translated to, Maya will figure out. The shower itself was held at Mom's house, a saccharine tableau of balloons, a quaint onesie decorating station, and a cake adorned with delicate gold feet. My loved ones, or so I believed, filled the living room, their gifts a soft, sweet avalanche of anticipation. Then Mom took to the microphone. Ah, her beloved microphone. Before the cake was even considered, her eyes alight with theatrical glee, she declared, "I have a surprise." A collective ooh rippled through the guests. Bella, ever the performer, pressed a hand to her heart, a picture of practiced sincerity. Mom then brandished a glossy folder for Bella and her fiancé, Lucas. "A fully paid European honeymoon," she trumpeted. $32,000. Rome, Paris, Santorini. Because, she proclaimed, her love story matters more right now. Applause erupted. Whistles pierced the air. Bella shrieked, engulfing Mom in a cinematic embrace. I stood there, rooted, clutching a towering diaper cake, my neck a stiff hinge as I mechanically nodded, utterly numb. My baby stirred within me, a poignant flutter. I gently lowered the diaper cake, suddenly terrified I might simply drop it. That's when Mom pivoted. Her voice, shedding its warmth, became clipped, utterly pragmatic. "Don't forget, Maya," she intoned. "The mortgage is due Friday. $3,200. The room swam. The word mortgage bobbed sickeningly in my vision, a cruel fishing float. Her mortgage, of course. The one I've been subsidizing for 3 relentless years. The one with my temporary auto pay attached because, as we all know, late fees are a savage tax. Bella, catching my eye over Mom's shoulder, offered a saccharine grin. We'll send you pics from Paris, she chirped, as if bestowing a profound blessing. Aunt Lena chimed in with a knowing chuckle. Older sisters are just so reliable. You'll be fine. I merely offered a tight, lifeless smile in return. I packed the avalanche of baby gifts in a shroud of silence. I accepted hugs from well-meaning relatives reeking of perfume and celebratory champagne. I absently rubbed my belly, mumbling wrote thank yous, posed for obligatory photos. Then, after the last guest had departed, I washed 2 baking sheets. My hands, my mind just needed to engage in something tangible, something sensible. At 9 p.m., I loaded my car. At 10 p.m., a curt text to Mom, home safe. Her reply, a heart emoji, a calendar emoji. At midnight, I lay in my bed, mesmerized by the ceiling fan's relentless spin, as if it were meticulously counting down with me. At 1 a.m., I rose. I opened my laptop, staring, unseeing at the sterile glow of my banking app. That night, something inside me irrevocably fractured. And that night, I finally left. Months ahead, my phone would register 41 missed calls, one starkly labeled Mom, urgent. But this precipitous rupture, this definitive breaking point, didn't originate with a baby shower. It began subtly, insidiously, with allowances. It started with the insidious calibration of what truly constituted help. When I was 12, desiring a modest used bicycle, Mom decreed, you pay half, you'll truly value it. I babysat, painstakingly rolled coins. When Bella, at 12, craved a phone, Mom declared, girls need to stay safe. And somehow, the family plan, meant for the girls, materialized using my card for setup, a charge I never recouped. At 16, I spent weekends toiling at a bakery, flour dusting my hair, burn scarring my wrists. Bella, meanwhile, endured a solitary month at the mall before quitting, declaring standing a trauma to the arches. When I proudly presented Mom would nod dismissively, of course. Yet, when Bella showcased a C in a class adorned with glitter, Mom would effuse, school doesn't measure your true shine. Money, it became clear, was a parable. It's moral, relentlessly consistent. If Bella desired it, a path appeared. If I desired it, a lesson was imparted. After Dad's departure, late fees composed the dissonant soundtrack of our lives. Red envelopes, those initially gentle voices on the phone suddenly sharpening. At 19, I inherited those calls. I mastered the art of breathing through endless hold music, the polite but firm request. Could we possibly waive the penalty? Once I became fluent in the lexicon of hardship, I unilaterally set up Mom's auto-pay on my card, just until we get ahead. At 24, securing that nonprofit job, the accompanying raise felt like a clerical error. I meticulously crafted a budget, complete with sacred categories like emergency and future. Mom's gaze, however, invariably darted straight to emergency. A leaky roof? An emergency. The car with its perpetually illuminated check engine light? An emergency. Bella's lash certification fee? Ah, that too was an emergency. Because it's an investment, darling. We'd all force a laugh, and I would pay. I rationalized it to myself. This is love with receipts. Mom's mortgage, however, was the colossal sum. The loan reset, the interest rate surged, the monthly payment leaped. Just for a few months, she'd promised. I'll repay you when Bella's wedding is settled. I resignedly set the auto-pay. And I lied to myself, convincing myself it was temporary, like a short-lived diet, a week or so. Instead, $3,200 vanished on the first Friday of every month. Mom would send saccharine heart emojis. Bella, a swift, you're an angel. I screenshotted nothing. I diligently deleted my kindness ledger from my notes app, for it made me feel like I was cynically cataloging swallows, small, unacknowledged acts of depletion. It wasn't just currency. It was my precious time. Endless DMV lines. Dentist copays. Hours spent in sterile waiting rooms for Bella's urgent hair appointments because, naturally, The colorist only accepted cash. Lugging chairs at family gatherings because you have strong arms, honey. When I dared to articulate a refusal, Mom's eyes would well up instantly, like a faucet with a cunningly engineered trick handle. You think I'm a bad mother? She'd whisper, her voice a weapon. I'd pay anything to make it stop. I purchased my 2-bedroom condo 3 years prior. I wept at the closing, that single key, a potent permission slip to finally, truly breathe. The very next month, Mom innocently inquired if Bella could utilize my spare bedroom. Temporarily, she'd assured, while she and Lucas stabilize. 2 weeks metastasized into 6 months. It's just until after the engagement party, Mom insisted, her tone hardening. Don't be difficult. I'd adjust the thermostat to the temperature I actually paid for, only to find it surreptitiously lowered a single click. I'd label my food, then watch it inexplicably vanish. Bella, meanwhile, would casually post a story from my balcony. City views, baby! Predictably, without tagging my name. When Bella eventually got engaged, Mom orchestrated it like a national holiday. We had binders meticulously tabbed. We endured meetings featuring artisanal charcuterie boards and pronouncements like, "We can't be cheap. It's only once. This is a family production." Family production, in our lexicon, was a thinly veiled directive. Maya, deploy your card. I attempted to erect a boundary, a flimsy fence woven from straw. My gift is $2,500, I stated. That's my absolute limit. Mom blinked, as if I'd uttered an obscenity. Darling, that barely covers photography. Bella trilled, her voice condescendingly soothing. Maya, darling, think bigger. I tried again. $2,500. I articulated slowly, carefully, as if the cadence of my speech had ever been the root of the problem. Mom pressed a hand to her chest dramatically. You know, our house payment is utterly brutal this year, she sighed, a clear plea for sympathy. Be a team player, she meant. Maintain the autopay. Why? I inquired, as politely as I could manage. Am I paying your mortgage? Mom's face congealed into that expression. Because I raised you, she declared. Because family is everything. Because your sister needs a start. My baby, I countered, my hand instinctively caressing my belly, needs a start. Bella rolled her eyes, an exasperated flourish. Don't make this about you, she snapped, flipping her hair with an expensive-looking swish. 1,000 such vignettes flashed through my mind. Christmas last year, when I gifted Mom a beautiful winter coat, only for her to ask, can you return it for cash? Bella needs a deposit for her honeymoon someday. The time Mom unilaterally gave Bella my vacuum cleaner. You work too much to vacuum, Maya. The day Mom admonished me to smile more so I wouldn't scare luck away. Still, I kept paying. Not from any delusion of sainthood, but because halting felt akin to pushing someone on a swing and abandoning them mid-air. I compulsively made lists for baby essentials, crossing items off with a satisfaction that felt like meager crumbs. I folded the stroller into my trunk 3 times just to affirm my competency. I glanced at my meager savings, pretending it was sufficient. The baby shower, meant to be a radiant circle of love and cake, instead devolved into a stark mathematical equation festooned with balloons. Mom's announcement of the $32,000 honeymoon, presented as a beacon of romance, was nothing more than raw logistics. It was irrefutable proof that money, a river, inevitably flows towards the brightest, most celebrated light. And then, her pivot to me, don't forget, Maya, mortgage is due Friday, $3,200. As if I were merely a pre-printed line item on the day's agenda. I could have delivered a scathing monologue. I didn't. I smiled a fixed rictus. I packed diapers into my trunk. I endured the final hugs. I left. It's truly astonishing what one can accomplish when the world isn't truly watching. Sleep eluded me. I lay in the oppressive dark, listening to the dishwasher's rhythmic knock like an unwelcome visitor. My baby, bless his nascent soul, rolled once, as if checking the internal locks. At precisely 10:06 a.m., I finally sat up. My laptop open, I meticulously arranged 3 browser tabs, aligning them with obsessive precision. Bank, email, and a blank document I titled 90 Days. Tab 1, Bank. The auto pay for Mom's mortgage. That monstrous draft that bled my account dry on the first Friday of every month? Canceled. I systematically removed my card from Mom's water bill, gas, internet. I placed them on temporarily years ago, a word that has an insidious way of permanently furnishing your life. Tab 2, Email. I composed a message to Mom, CCing myself for a stark record. Subject: Boundaries plus plan, next 90 days. The body was direct, unyielding. I love you. I am becoming a mother in a month. Effective immediately. I'm no longer paying your mortgage or any bills. If you need help budgeting, I can meet twice a month for 1 hour, Thursdays at 6 p.m. For the next 90 days, all contact will be by email only. True emergencies, hospital, police, I will respond. I will not discuss Bella's honeymoon. My baby registry is attached. M. Then to Bella. Subject: Honeymoon plus money. Body: My gift remains $2,500. Please direct any additional requests to vendors, not to me. Do not use my address, name, or accounts for your wedding or travel arrangements. If you need help building a budget, I'll meet twice a month by video for 1 hour. Email only. I also wrote to my HR department, initiating a switch to a new direct deposit account I'd opened in the dead of that night at a different bank. I even emailed my building manager to reserve the loading dock, not knowing if I was truly moving, but needing the potent affirmation of having the option. A silent note to myself, scribbled on a mental page. You are allowed to do this. Tab 3, the document. A manifesto. What I will no longer do / what I am willing to do. The list was precise. No more auto pays for other adults. No co-signing. No last-minute emergency transfers. No group chats about money. And the counterpoints? Yes to 2 dinners a month. Budgets if asked respectfully. Emergency rides. I printed it. The rustle of paper felt profoundly real. Next, I contacted a property manager whose number I'd bookmarked months ago, the night Mom had, with casual cruelty, labeled me selfish for suggesting. Bella purchased her own shampoo. I left a voicemail at 1:24 a.m., a time that felt both utterly wrong and exquisitely right. Hello, I stated, my voice a quiet declaration. I own a condo with a spare room I'm taking back. I need a lease drafted for any future occupant, and I need scripts for boundaries. Please call me at 9. I then sank to the floor, sorting the baby gifts from shower. Not out of necessity, but because folding tiny socks felt like a sacred ritual, a silent prayer. I made a solemn pile for returns I'd likely never get to, another for the hospital bag, a third for later. At 2:07 a.m., Bella's text sliced through the quiet. Can you Venmo me $600? We owe the deposit on the photographer tomorrow. Mom is tapped. I'll pay you back Friday. Friday, the hallowed mortgage day, the one she'd so publicly reminded me of. I placed my phone face down on the bed, letting its obnoxious glow extinguish. At 2:44 a.m., Mom's text. I hope you didn't take that honeymoon moment the wrong way. We want you to have magic, too. Did you see the diaper cake? Also Mortgage Friday. A winking face. I could vividly picture her drifting off to sleep moments later, a smug satisfaction, a motherly pride. At 3 a.m., I sent both emails. My finger hesitated, suspended. Then it pressed a decisive push like opening a small, heavy door that would never quite close the same way again. At 7:30 a.m., Mom's furious reply landed. This is cruel. We are family. You're letting your hormones make you mean. Call me. Bella's followed. Boundaries. You're so obsessed with rules. Get a day, we'll talk. I typed a retort. This isn't about revenge. This is about closure. But I held back, saving that truth for a later, more impactful moment. It lingered, a bitter taste, in my mouth. At 9:02 a.m., my phone rang. Irene, the property manager. Her voice resonated with an uncomplicated trustworthiness, devoid of any sales pitch. Breathe, she instructed gently after my disjointed summary. First, we'll clean up the paper trail. Does your mom live with you? No, I stated. She resides in her own home. Good. Irene affirmed. We'll systematically remove your card from anything that isn't unequivocally yours. We'll establish a P.O. box to intercept any mail confusion. We'll even draft a formal notice to your sister regarding the spare room, should it become necessary. And the next time she asks for emergency funds, the answer is simple. I've budgeted for my baby. I found myself crying, utterly blindsided by the wellspring of tears. Irene waited patiently, as if accustomed to the emotional deluge of 1,000 clients. At noon, I metaphorically dropped off Mom's house key and my own mental door and decisively closed it. A metaphor, yes, but its impact resonated with profound physicality. I took a deliberate walk. I ate something blessedly green. I wrote a new list, a declaration of my new reality. Birth plan, car seat, no to mortgage, yes to lunch with myself. It looked absurdly simple, yet it delivered a quiet, profound help. That night, for the first time in what felt like forever, I truly slept. The dishwasher's familiar hum finally sounded like a machine again, no longer an accusing, unanswered question. The following morning, I awoke to a digital cacophony. 3 voicemails, 5 verbose paragraphs from Mom, 8 accusatory ones from Bella, 2 from Aunt Lena, and an email from a florist I never engaged, thanking me for a deposit. My response to the florist was swift, precise. That charge was unauthorized. Please reverse. I immediately forwarded the incriminating email to my new bank's fraud department. To Bella, a stark, single-sentence email. Do not use my name or card with vendors. Her dismissive retort. It's just a hold. Relax. You're being a lot. My reply? The fraud claim number, followed by email only. By Friday, the hallowed mortgage day, my bank account remained unmolested. No $3,200 vanished. No badgering reminder text was answered. No passive-aggressive calendar emoji dictated my obligations. That Friday night, I packed a small bag and escaped to my friend Kay's for the weekend, desperate to hear a dishwasher sound that wasn't laden with emotional baggage. On Sunday, I returned home to a sticky note affixed to my door. We stopped by. Call us, scrawled in Mom's distinctive hand, a script that could transmute any innocuous message into a chilling subpoena. I didn't call. 3 weeks following that decisive night, I gave birth to my son. Dark hair, a cry so robust it felt like a declaration of life. I named him Isaiah. He nestled into the crook of my arm, a perfect, unspoken sentence finally articulated. For the initial 72 hours of Isaiah's precious life, my phone remained face down, its digital demands muted. I committed his scent to memory. I discovered the astonishing capacity of my body to simultaneously cradle immense pain and boundless love without fracturing. Then, 4 months after the baby shower that had ignited my transformation, Isaiah slept, a warm weight on my chest, and my phone suddenly flared like a malfunctioning Christmas tree. 41 missed calls. 1 ominously labeled Mom, urgent. I took a deep, fortifying breath. I opened my email. The subject lines alone narrated the unfolding drama. Mom, call me now. Mom, this is an emergency. Bella, seriously, Maya. Aunt Lena, this is going too far. And then, from an unknown number, notice to pay or quit. Mortgage servicer. I opened Mom's email first. They're saying the house is late, she wrote, her panic palpable. We got a scary letter. I thought you set the autopay. Why would you put us at risk like this? Call me. I opened Bella's. Did you cancel the florist hold? She's trying to say the card bounced. Also, Mom is having a panic attack. You're a mom now. Be compassionate. I cradled Isaiah closer, feeling my chest blaze into a furious map of heat. This was the urgent. The river had irrevocably altered its course. I was no longer a compliant bank. I was a formidable dam. My reply was an email I'd meticulously crafted and refined in drafts for 3 months. Subject: Next steps plus options. Mom, I wrote, I removed my car from your bills on date and reminded you by email. I am not paying your mortgage. You need to contact your servicer immediately to set up a plan. If you want help building a budget, I can meet Thursday at 6 p.m. for 1 hour. If you would like temporary assistance, I can offer a one-time gift of $500. I will not be an ongoing source of payments. For the next 90 days, please use email. True emergencies, medical, police, I will respond. Love him. I braced myself for the inevitable storm. It erupted. Mom's reply arrived within 5 minutes. I'm your mother. How dare you? Let's get to this. We housed you. We fed you. You're cruel. What will people say? Aunt Lena, ever the loyal proxy, chimed in, unbelievable. After all Bella did for your shower. Bella sent a single, chilling line, if the house goes, that's on you. I drafted a scathing reply to Bella. If the house goes, that's on the adults who signed the loan. But then I deleted it, opting for a softer, more measured response. I hope it doesn't come to that. If you want to help Mom, this is a good time to step up. Mom called again, her name blazing on my screen. I let it ring. She texted, call me, as if it were an incantation, a command I was bound to obey. At noon, Mom's mortgage servicer called me directly, a chilling reminder that I was still listed as the contact. The woman's voice, devoid of human warmth, was purely algorithmic, sounding like math itself. We're calling regarding address, she stated. The payment is 30 days late. Would you like to make a payment today? Heat flushed my face. Please, I articulated, my voice as calm as a contained fire. Remove my number from this account. I am neither an owner nor a payer. She requested confirmation, which I supplied. We'll note the file, she conceded. I immediately emailed Mom. I have removed my number from your loan file. It is your sole responsibility to contact them. An hour later, that urgent call flashed again. I stared at the screen, visualizing the relentless mechanism within the phone generating that insistent noise, and decided my blood pressure was not a price I was willing to pay. I pressed decline. Irene, my steadfast property manager, had already sent me a script for Mom. Call the servicer. Ask for a repayment plan. Inquire about deferral. Ask about hardship. It's not glamorous, but it's doable. I copied, pasted, and sent it to Mom. At 3 p.m., Bella posted a cryptic Instagram story, a black screen with white text. Some people forget who was there for them. The group chat immediately buzzed with sympathetic hearts. I muted it for a year. Isaiah slept peacefully. I washed bottles. I watched the clock tick past 5 p.m. and felt nothing, absolutely nothing, withdraw from my account. It felt like a new holiday, a quiet triumph no one else celebrated. 2 days later, Mom wrote, they said we can do a plan if we pay $1,600 by Friday. Can you cover that, and I'll pay you back? The phrase, I'll pay you back, deserved a museum, a mausoleum, for all the times it had lived and died a hollow promise. My response was concise. I can gift $500. That was my definitive offer. I pressed send before I could compose a paragraph detailing the years I'd single-handedly prevented her house from displaying a foreclosure letter in its window. Her reply, fine, it's something. You could do more. I transferred the $500, but my newly established rules remained unyielding. The following week, another predictable wave. The power bill, the water, the internet. Each arrived like a persistent soldier from a war I was no longer fighting. I replied with links to payment plans, not money. Bella texted, you really changed. My reply, yes. And then came the most unexpected part of all, silence. After a month of relentless drama that tasted like stale pennies, there was nothing. Mom stopped crafting verbose paragraphs. Bella ceased posting cryptic black screens. I visited the park, counting ducks instead of debts. I indulged in small acts that felt like true wealth. I bought brand-name diapers without performing mental arithmetic. I deposited $100 into a savings account meticulously labeled Isaiah's first summer. I slept when he slept. I ate a meal from an actual plate. And then, the true, resonating 41 missed calls day finally arrived. Not due to a foreboding foreclosure, but because undeniable reality, complete with an official stamp, had finally confronted Mom's house. A 30-day letter from the servicer, pinned to her door like a sinister invitation. Aunt Lena, predictably, photographed it and sent it to me. Look what you did, she scrawled. I stared at the damning image, feeling something entirely novel. Not shame, not even triumph, but profound relief. The ground beneath me was no longer a precarious trampoline. It was solid, unwavering floor. I emailed Mom. I'll meet you at the bank Thursday at 2 p.m. We'll inquire about a plan. If they necessitate a contribution, I can provide $200, but I will never be your auto pay again. Her concise reply, fine. We sat opposite a lone officer beneath the unforgiving glare of fluorescent lights. Mom's voice was astonishingly small, a timbre I'd never before heard. We thought my daughter was paying, she mumbled, gesturing vaguely towards me. The officer's gaze flickered. I offered no explanations, no apologies. I simply requested a hardship plan, and we secured one. It wasn't some mystical intervention. It was stark math. Mom signed the requisite papers with a visibly trembling hand. She avoided my gaze as she departed, and that, I realized, was perfectly fine. That night, Bella sent a solitary text. You could have done this sooner instead of being dramatic. I composed 8 scathing replies, meticulously deleting each one, before settling on a single, potent sentence. I stopped being your plan. Gradually, imperceptibly, things began to shift. Mom downgraded to a more economical phone plan. Bella, perhaps feeling the pinch, secured a second yoga class that actually generated income. Aunt Lena, bless her, ceased tagging me in passive-aggressive memes about ungrateful children. When Mom requested I pick up paper towels, my response was clear, no, but I can send you a link for home delivery. When Bella, inevitably, asked for $400 just until Friday, I simply replied, no. Her retort, you're heartless. I offer no response. I took my baby for a doctor's appointment, paying the copay with my own card, without even grazing my emergency fund. It felt like discovering a new, sunlit room within my own house. We purchased a soft rug for tummy time. We spilled on it. We lived. 4 months after that fateful baby shower, when Mom's urgent calls had both commenced and finally ceased, I grasped a profound truth. Boundaries aren't dramatic declarations. They are, in fact, rather boring. But they are immutably strong. They compel others to adjust because they refuse to budge. I printed one final piece of paper, a new manifesto, what I can do / what I want. I taped it inside my kitchen cabinet, nestled beside the salt. 2 weeks henceforth, an email from Mom. Dinner Thursday. 3 succinct words. No accompanying sermon. My reply, yes. 6 to 7. Roses. Roses, a diner exuding an anachronistic charm, served meatloaf with unwavering confidence and addressed everyone as sweetie. I arrived early, settling into a worn booth that had witnessed countless dramas without judgment. Mom appeared, clad in a sweater I'd purchased for her the previous winter. She seemed diminished, as if she'd shed a weighty performance and found herself unburdened by its absence. We ordered coffee. We spoke of Isaiah's impossibly soft cheeks, his contagious laughter at the rotating ceiling fan. We discussed a neighbor's perpetually escaping dog. We did not, crucially, mention the $32,000 honeymoon or the $3,200 mortgage. We simply sat, 2 individuals rediscovering each other as people. After the pie, Mom drew a deep, fortifying breath, the kind one takes before articulating an uncomfortable truth. I pushed you too hard, she confessed. I thought we were doing family. I was doing something else entirely. Her gaze dropped to her hands. I'm sorry. It wasn't a cinematic moment. I didn't rise to my feet and offer absolution. I simply said, thank you. And I genuinely meant it. I still wish you'd told me in a softer way, she added, a faint flicker of her old self. Because honesty in our house always comes with a little garnish. At the baby's shower, I reminded her softly, I smiled. I packed gifts in silence. I left that night instead of making a scene. That was my soft way. She nodded, a slow, dawning comprehension. I see that now. We proceeded to establish new rules, using paper napkins as our makeshift charter. Email for money, I stipulated. 2 dinners a month. No surprise visits. Emergencies are strictly hospital or police. She repeated them back. A diligent student striving for an A. We paid the bill, split precisely down the middle. She made no attempt to subtly slide her portion towards me. I observed this. I filed that observation in a mental folder labeled Progress. Bella, predictably, did not attend. She sent a text later, "Whatever." My reply, "I love you. I won't fund you." She responded with a heart emoji. Small, yes, but crucially, it wasn't a grenade. Bella and Lucas, from their European idol, dispatched a postcard from Paris. Its message, "Wish you were here," a phrase laden with mutable meaning, depending on the emotional climate of the day. I affixed it to the refrigerator, beneath Isaiah's joyful scribbles. He, in his nascent innocence, grinned at the Eiffel Tower, perceiving it as a magnificent ladder awaiting his future ascent. Mom now occasionally sends me photographs of her meals, humble plates of beans and rice, accompanied by texts like, "We're okay." These messages land with the hesitant grace of a new, cherished word she is slowly learning to embrace. Sometimes, she ventures to ask for $20, and I articulate a gentle no, and she no longer retaliates with punishment, neither towards me nor herself. Sometimes, she requests a ride to the doctor, and I readily agree. We drive in comfortable silence, listening to the radio, without needing to transform every interaction into a poignant poem. Isaiah sleeps soundly in his crib for 3 consecutive hours. It feels like an undeniable victory. My dishwasher now hums, reassuringly, like a mere machine, not a tormentor. My persistently thirsty houseplant, astonishingly, thrives. I consistently deposit $50 each month into a savings account meticulously designated Isaiah's first summer. Occasionally, I open it just to gaze at the growing number, whispering it's ours. I once believed the truly unforgettable moment would be the day I severed that financial umbilical cord, watching the river of obligation reroute to its authentic course. It wasn't. The indelible memory was far subtler, more intimately profound. A Thursday dinner, sharing pie, a bill meticulously divided, and a mother who, finally, uttered those 3 transformative words, "I'm sorry," all while inside my cabinet door, my own immutable rules whispered back. Have you, in your own life, ever found yourself compelled to draw an unequivocal line in the sand with family, even when it cleaved your heart? What pivotal actions did you take? I genuinely long to hear your narratives in the comments below.